tons of great stories on that movie. I mean, I could tell you some later, but like one time it was just great. I just remember I had dinner. I think it was me and Scott. It was me and Scott and Lisa Bonet and John Voight. And it was just a great dinner. You know, the cast was so eclectic. And just a mix of everybody. And I just remember when we were doing that movie, like there's an example of when you're doing movies, how just being like, if someone liking you, how you can just get more screen time. Like, so we're shooting the second part of the movie after Christmas, and a lot of it, we did like 2.5 months before Christmas, and we took the break and went right back to DC, and it was a different movie at that point, because I remember Scream 2 had just come out, and that was killing it, and As Good As It Gets came out. Now I was in those movies filming this movie. You know, like, this is bomb right now. This is like fucking, I couldn't have been more in the fucking heart of all this stuff. And I came back, and it was like after Christmas, and we were a little bit like tired, and we're like, well, we'll get back in here. It was fucking freezing in Baltimore in the harbor. And I just remember then we started the second part of it. After we were done the DC part, then we went back to LA, and we were doing all these almost in early spring stuff, so it was much warmer, which was nice. We were filming on sound stages and stuff for more of the interiors. And I'll never forget, what was I? We were filming on the sound stage, and it was more like, it was me, it was Jason Lee, and it was in the beginning in the movie. We were in DC with him, we were running and chasing him. And then the soundstage stuff was more like Jack Black, Lauren, me, you know, and Tom Sizemore. And example of just like by being, you know, around a director that happens to like you, you know, I'm not like people today, you know, like people today, they have one TikTok go semi-viral, and they'll walk up to, you know, fucking, they have one dance go semi-viral, and they'll walk up to Ariana Grande and go, so you and me, right? Like, we're blowing up, right? Isn't that crazy? Like, people today are so crazy, entitled, and like, and nuts. And I'm from the generation of, you know, be seen, not heard. Just fucking shut the fuck up when they call on you. Say, yes, sir. What's up? You know what I mean? And do your work, kill it, and fucking step away. And if they want more, they'll tell you. You know, respect the legacy. There's a pecking order to this shit. And this was a huge pecking order, and everybody was mad cool. And I just remember that when we were doing it, Tony, they added like this scene. It was like the shootout. I have to see it again. And I'll never forget when I was doing it, Tony brought me into his trailer. You know, this huge ass trailer and tons of movies and different storyboards and visuals of what he wanted to do. And you know, the way he shoots movies, unlike anyone else, it's incredible. I mean, he's shooting both sides at the same time, so the real reaction is to the real moment. And up here, like 7 cameras, man. Like, you know, fucking, it's the way to do it, really. And we go in his trailer, and I think he had like Hard Boiled on or something, like some Asian gangster film. I'm not sure if that's Chinese, Japanese, I'm sure Korean. It was a Chow Yun-Fat movie. I think it was Hard Boiled. And it was like fucking shootout. And he's like, is he going there? Is he going like fucking running around? That's what he's like. Is he going running around? He's not really shooting. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's you. That's gonna be you. I'm like, what? Because I was a tech in the movie. And so I guess they did this whole scene with Tom Sizemore, who, you know, I don't know enough about him personally. I know a lot of people say stuff, but as an actor, I don't know if he is fucking incredible. He is incredible, and he's a presence. And I know he had done his stuff already, and I think James LeGros did his stuff. I mean, there was so many actors in this movie that are so good. And I'm like, he's like, you're gonna be in the middle of that. They're gonna be the FBI is gonna be questioning you, and it's standard. So I just remember that we had all of these, like, we kind of improvised. That scene was me, and it was Jack, and then I forget who else was in the movie. That scene was the interrogators, and we're all in that scene. And it was the shoot up. It was two different scenes. It was the shoot up scene, and I was watching Hard Boiled with him, just a little bit of it. I'm like, is he gonna be like that? He's like, we shoot the fuck out of it. So we want to miss fucking guns, fucking bazookas, fucking blood. I'm like, he's like, that's a little baby shooting. That's nothing. We're gonna have 1,000 more guns and fucking angle here, right? And I was like, this scene's insane. He's like, nah, wait till you see my scene. And so he was like getting all this inspiration. And I was like, oh my God, like this is gonna be wild. So I have to remember, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I just remember in that scene, all these things were, that's a whole other thing. We talk about a video I did a couple videos ago about gun safety. Like there was tons of squibs. I just remember squibs. And I just had to I had a path that I had to crawl where I had to avoid squibs. It was like squib. And I ended up having, it wasn't really written, but I had like this bigger part. And that was just because Tony just, for some reason, he liked me. I was very lucky. He liked me. And I think he thought that I was like, I don't know. I think he thought like maybe I was doing a part in a movie, and that I think he thought maybe that the part was a little smaller than I was used to, but not really. There was so many titans in this movie. I was happy to get in it. But somehow he made me feel like I was like, I should have been doing more. And so he did. He was just always nice to me. I had to find his emails. Like, just really, really nice to me. And it was weird. Like, every time it was one of these relationships in Hollywood, when you see them in person, they just love you and hug you, but you never keep in touch with them. And I should do a whole video about people I just don't keep in touch with that I know. It's crazy. And I just remember that. And then I remember the other part in Sony, and I remember that it was me and Jack Black, and we were doing the interrogation, which was the video of that stuff. And they were like, you guys got out. How'd you get out? And he's like, just remember, it's a fucking standard operation. That's what it is. Just say something like that. Say standard operation, And I was like, and I had fucked up, and I just kept putting my own spin on. I'm like, I just thought it was an STO. And the fucking other actor's like, STO, what's that? And I was like, standard training op. I think that was in the script, or I think I improvised part of it. I have to look at it. But I remember I was like, part of it was like, we came up with it on the fly. And I was like, yeah, STO. So I think it was just standard training op. I think I added I just thought it was an STO because I was using tech terms, and he was like, STO, what's that? I'm like, standard training op. He's like, yeah, I can keep it. STO, man, that's what it's fucking is. It's like that. It's like one let off stop, It's like fucking you didn't want to stop, STO, fucking yeah. So that's when I remember saying that. I was like, I just thought it was an STO, standard training op, and that was he would say, it's like your character knew that you were doing something nefarious, but you lie. That's what you guys do to save your ass because you don't want to rat on the government, but the government spies, which and then bam. And then that was it. Which is crazy about that movie is I should do a whole other video. Some of the movies I've been in, how they mirror what's going on in the world today. Why was I in that movie? And why am I so into conspiracies? Yet I was in that movie. Why was I picked? Yeah. What's crazy? I almost wasn't going to the Scream 2 premiere because I was filming that movie, and then they figured it out and let me go, which was a big deal for me because it was my first time being Chinese, had my name on it and stuff. So I got to go to that, but I don't think I went to the Enemy of the State premiere because I was filming Three Kings. And I was kind of bummed, but I was like, this is what you do. And then I think somebody was like, dude, you're a working actor. They'll be asking where you're at. That's what you want to be. The guy where they go, where is he at?
I don't feel like anyone's talking. They're blockers. That's not why I came to Hollywood.
You know how fucking backwards that is?
Shit.
I hate to break it to you.